Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson and tech wizard Abigail Mowat.
Hi everybody.
So how have you been?
I've been alright, how are you?
I'm fine. And the pleasantries are over. You notice that every time I do the introduction I go faster and faster and faster and faster.
Yes, I feel like you're not enjoying this.
No, it's just that I remember at the very beginning it took me about 17 takes and then I would...
Shh, don't tell them that.
No, we have to restart every time. It's unedited. And then afterwards, it would when I was actually getting it right, it would be so slow. Hello and welcome to the OverShadow. Check my notes. ShadowCast.
Well, this is riveting stuff, but shall we actually get on to the topic
Did you
at
just
hand?
say riveting?
No, I said riveting.
Anything interesting happening to you recently?
No.
Just the way I like it. So we'll start with what we always start with. As I put it last time, first comes first, which is obvious. Or was it the week before?
I don't know.
It's all blending together into one giant podcast.
One giant terrible joke.
No, that's not the podcast, that's you.
I shake my head at you again.
With a slight smilish look.
No smile.
She couldn't hold that back for long, could she?
No.
So, you've been playing GTA 3, you've continued your adventures through the world of
I have.
COD.
I have.
Yeah, you've only got... Well, as of last week, you only had 3 missions left.
Yes. So, I had to do a mission called Sam, which I had to go on a boat, if you remember.
Yes.
And I had to shoot a plane down.
And then pick up some packages.
Yes, I had to get them from the cartel.
Some packages.
Yes, and from the cartel. And I was having a lot of trouble last week because I just either kept getting blown up or getting destroyed by the police.
Is that what I'm saying? Okay, right.
Yeah, I kept getting blown up or destroyed by the police.
As in killed.
Yes.
Right.
So I tried a bunch of different ways. I tried, if you remember correctly, I had to get to a boat, I had to get to a location, shoot a plane down, collect the packages, and then get back to where I started the mission from.
And I remember the very first time you tried it, you couldn't even find the boat.
Yes, I got lost on the way to the boat.
Yeah. Because there's no major map and the mini-map.
No, it's a tiny, tiny map.
And the mini-map only has a little dot on it that you can't see.
So I also talked about the fact that I was going to look at walkthroughs to see if there was a way I could get to the boat early enough. It turns out there isn't. At least not one that I could find. Mm-hmm. So I literally just had to wait there. But they said, instead of waiting in the water for a minute and a half, what you need to do is you need to beach the boat onto this runway. Mm-hmm. You need to shoot some of the cartel.
So you're near the airport?
Yes, the airport. Right. So there's a landing platform for boats on this runway where the plane is going to come land that you need to shoot down. Uh-huh. So what you need to do is you need to go up, and there's some cartel at the top of this sort of rampway from where the boat is. Mm-hmm. Then you need to shoot them, and you need to shoot them with the rifle with the scope on so that they don't see you. Sniper rifle.
Yeah.
Then you go up and you try and there's more cartel at the other end. So you try and take out as many as you can before this plane comes in. Uh-huh. When the plane comes in, you shoot it down, you collect the packages then. However, you now go up to level 4 on the star rating for the police to come find you. Uh-huh. So at this point, you can either get back in the boat, go back the way you came, or you can get the car and try and find your way to the location you need to get to.
Right, so you can either try and charge.
You can either go through the airport. You can either go through the airport or you go back the way you came on a boat. If you come back on the way you boat, the police will catch you on the other side. You know, they'll hunt you down, because you have a helicopter above your head.
Yeah.
All the time. So I decided to try the car way because in the previous one I tried the boat and that wasn't working. The car way was working fine until I realized on the runway there's these little pillars, these little light pillars, and if you hit one, you are going flying.
Yeah.
which I did many times.
I think they take the little light pillars. There aren't any little light pillars like
They're like
that.
little pillars.
Yeah, in the...
in real life.
in 5.
Alright.
You can drive around the airport and have quite a bit of fun in 5, but you can't... is it little yellow ones?
No, they're little white ones. They're like... In reality, they are a cylinder. Like, if I was to talk about it in like real... It's like about a foot tall.
No, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
And it's a cylinder.
Aye. Because in the next one you've got to play, there's little... Like... Could you imagine those... you know when you go to the shops... And each of the cashier has a plastic number above their head that lights up if the till's on.
Yeah.
That in the ground.
Right.
And you can run over them and they act like little ramps, but if you hit them not perfectly, you just go woo through the air.
Yeah, well, this happened to me. And also, at some points, I tried to maneuver past some of the other cartel, and I didn't realize that the runway was just basically the runway on a body of water. There was no direct way to go to the main bit of the airport, so I kept like falling in the water. And eventually I managed to get my way in, and I've discovered the cartel don't really chase me because I'm in one of their cars. I've stolen one of their cars from the ones I shot. But the police got me, and they just kept blocking me in and kept destroying me, basically. The car kept blowing up, and then I kept getting shot by them. And I just actually discovered that there's a tunnel next to a bridge next to the airport that I didn't know was there. Until this walkthrough.
Right.
And they suggested you need to go through that because it's the easiest way. And I'm not joking. I'm sat there playing this thing. My heart was racing. I don't know how many beats per minute. Me just trying to like maneuver past all these blooming cars. And eventually I did manage to do it, which was for sheer perseverance. No skill whatsoever. Just right out this time, maybe this time. But I was either getting shot down by the police. My car kept blowing up. What was really annoying was I get in the car and it would just like roll. I'm trying to get out of it, but it would blow up with me in it.
Right, yeah, that they took that out as well. The cars don't detonate when they roll over in 5.
Yeah, but the problem is I don't have 5. We've discussed this before.
No, I know, but I'm trying to give you a bit of hope.
There is no hope.
Right. It's like golf when they put the flag in. Try to give you hope.
So anyway, past that, went back to my hideout, saved the game. And the next mission I had to do, I decided not to do the one right after that for the 500,000 mission. I decided to go back to because I needed $500,000.
Yes, to do the last mission.
Yeah, but I decided to go back and do the Donald Love mission instead because I didn't know that mission is technically supposed to be the last mission you do.
The 500,000.
Yeah. So I went and did the Donald Love, which was the escort service, which I had tried once before. And I'd failed.
And what is it in?
Let me speak.
Sorry, I just thought people might want to remember I am in the room.
You talk so much. I literally virtually never talk apart from this segment.
Yeah, I'd rather you did, because it sounds a bit like I've kidnapped you and I'm just dictating at you. Record this down. It's in my thoughts on Fallout.
So the Donald Love mission is called Escort Service, and I have to protect a car from getting damaged by...
Oh, I remember this.
By the cartel. And the first time I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. So I looked up a walkthrough, and they sort of explained a bit of it. But the walkthrough, it was taking so long trying to do it, the walkthrough, I said, right, let's just do it myself.
Do you mind if we just explain some of the parameters that you are driving in a car alongside another car.
A van
you're protecting, and it has a health bar, and you have to stop other vehicles ramming into it.
You have to stop the cartel running into it. And it's a very specific kind of car that you're looking out for.
That's attacking the car
Yes,
you're
it's
protecting.
like a blue pickup truck.
Right, so you have to protect the van from the blue pickup trucks, and it has a health bar, the van. So you've got to stop the van's health bar from going to 0. Or
no. It's like a wishy-washy blue bar that gets fuller and fuller and fuller the more it gets damaged.
Right, so that's damage, not health. So it goes up the way. You've got to stop the bar filling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I managed to do it, and I had to go through another tunnel system.
You did it?
Yes, I did it.
Oh, right. Wow, you never told me that.
Yeah, because I'll tell you why. As soon as I finished it, I tried to get back home, and you know what happened? I blew up. So I had no idea where I was.
And there's no map.
No. I blew up and I had to do it all over again. And I've not done it again because I was too upset.
That's really stupid. I know games of that era were limited, but that is really stupid. Just
because the amount of times I had to, like, because I have to, like, what's it called? Drive-by shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I find that really difficult because I just can't do moving, driving and shooting at the same time. My brain just freezes at that.
Okay, well, we'll have to help you with that in first-person shooters and stuff, but I think you'll get...
Yeah, but it's because there's so much going on at the one time.
With driving, it's especially hard because the mechanics are always a bit strange. You know, the button configuration you have to use.
Yeah, and it's just because there's a lot going on, and I just found that quite difficult. I'm sure the more I do it, the more I'll get used to it.
No.
Oh.
No, because drive-by mechanics have always been a bit rubbishy.
Okay, well, anyway, so...
Get someone else to drive if you can.
Well, there's just me. But I just... Oh, God, I eventually found out where I was, and I managed to get back to the bridge, you know, the one that lifts up and goes ding, 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 and will not stop going ding, 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 until it goes back down.
Yeah.
I finally managed to get there. However, I fell off it, and again, rolled, blew up. I was like, no. And I was like, okay. Either I just accept the fact that I found the hospital, but now I have no ammo of any kind, all my weapons are gone, and I go get them back, or I just reload the game. And decided I can't be bothered going back to get loads of weapons. I'm just going to reload the game. If I've done it once, I can do it again.
So this is when you died trying to get back to save it?
To save it, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, just for clarification purposes, I think this might be true in GTA 4. It's definitely true in GTA 5. There is a sort of autosave mechanic when you finish a mission.
Yeah.
And when in GTA 5 you can use your phone and you can save from your phone. You don't need to go back to your house and sleep. And in Vice City, which doesn't have a quick save mechanic, I don't think, or a autosave mechanic, sorry. I don't believe it does. You can buy lots of properties.
Yeah.
So there's like a dozen places you can save it, and it does have a map. So you can get yourself to the nearest one.
Yeah, because this I think it's just because, I don't know, I've never used a map game before or whatever, but it's just because there's just so much guesswork in where you're going. I mean, you could spend, I've spent, you know, what felt like an hour, probably was only about 10 minutes, going around the same location again and again and again, and going the wrong way I don't know how many times, just trying to get to one place until you eventually do learn a kind of layout for where you're going.
Yeah, like I said, most of that guesswork is from the fact there's only a mini-map. In later games, you can actually go to the main map and select an area, and you will then be guided.
Yeah, that would be so much easier.
Yeah, but it's
annoying.
I would hope that you'd have at least sections of the map you're in memorized by now.
Yeah, but also once I finished that mission, escort service, I noticed that the D symbol came back up for Donald Love, which makes me think there's another mission. So it makes me think that, including the escort service, there's three missions left, not two.
Okay. I must have the
I need to double check.
The walkthrough I was looking at must have assumed that you had, if that's the case, that you had done other missions for him before. Because
that's also something that kind of annoyed me, was the fact that there's no... I'm trying to think of the word. It's so random in how you can do the missions.
Oh, yeah, you can... Well, no, not entirely. It'll get... Basically, certain characters will pop up. It's sort of like...
Yeah, but I don't understand if you're supposed to do all the missions for that one character and then move on to another character and then move on to another character.
No, you can do whatever you want within the scope that... It's like acts, basically.
Yeah, because that is what they're called. They're called... That's what the game chapters are called or something like that.
And you can do all these missions, all these different people in any order you want.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got to do their missions in a certain order, and then once that's done, there'll be a story mission or something that will send you to the next one, essentially.
Yeah. Imagine if I wasn't actually playing this. I was just watching playthroughs and I'm just making this up week after week.
Oh, God.
I'm not. Believe me, the frustration is real.
Yeah, but imagine if you were doing it, just faking annoyance at a game that so many people like.
No, I honestly have been playing it and it's just been...
I think that a lot of the frustration's coming from the fact that you're trying to learn games with this one, but you're playing a classic game 15 years later and its limitations are showing up. What wouldn't have frustrated people 15 years ago because it's standard to video games and to the genre is now frustrating people. There's also the fact that that was the first 3D one that they ever made. So compared to the previous GTA games, it was a complete breath of fresh air.
Question, what do you mean? What?
3D as in three-dimensional. The others were 2D. You looked at it from above, straight down.
Oh, right.
I don't know, you might not have had them because you're a girl, but there were these sort of like play mats that we had as kids that were maps of roads.
Yeah, we had those.
We put cars on them.
Yeah.
That's basically it. So this was a complete breath of fresh air, a complete revelation. And so its limitations of the cars blowing up when they roll over and there being no main map and all that sort of stuff didn't seem as obvious. There's also the fact that at the time they weren't necessarily standard. So that's probably why you're seeing so much frustration, is you know there are games that don't have these sillinesses in them.
How often do they bring out GTA games? I automatically say 3 out of GTA now.
How often do they bring out GTA 3? It's once a week to show it to the peasant scum and then they move on with their lives.
How often do they bring out a GTA game?
Well, that was GTA 3, right?
Yeah.
And that was what, 2002, 2003?
I don't know.
It's on the back of the box.
I've never looked at the back of the box.
Since then they've made Vice City, which must have been 2004. Then they made San Andreas, which would have been 2005 or 6. Then they made, I think it was 2005 actually. Then they made 4, which was, well, like 2008.
Do you want me to look it up?
It was 2008 for 4.
Do you want me to look it up?
Yeah, and then GTA 5 came out in 2013. It's increasing in time because GTA 4, there was like quite a big jump back to that, and then that was a good 3 years or something.
Oof, 97 was the first one.
Yeah, and then
99 was 2.
Mm-hmm.
2001 was 3.
So that's 2-year gaps.
4 was...
No, that's not the next one. Vice City came out in 2002, so it was a year
Sorry,
later.
yeah. This I thought this was all in order.
I'll read them out because it's... So San Andreas was then 2004, so I was way too soon with those. Then GTA 4, which was 2008. So it was 4-year gap for GTA 4, and then it was a 5-year gap for GTA 5, and so far there's been a 5-year gap for GTA 5.
Wow, I thought GTA 5 came out like more recently than that.
No, it got re-released for Xbox One.
Ah, that's what I'm thinking
which
of.
they massively... they didn't remaster it entirely. What they did was they added first-person view.
Oh, that's where you are, like, you can be like, see through the character's eyes.
So instead of the character being behind you, you're inside their
That's
head.
what I meant.
Or as you put it, you're behind their eyes.
No, you can see through their eyes.
You can... Oh, that's less scary, isn't it? Mentaloid. But it...
Don't be calling me names.
Do you know, I replayed it, and so did my brother, played it with first person. And I had a friend who got it for the new consoles and replayed it. And me and Brian go on about how much of a revelation it was, I'm using that word again, to play it in first person, just how much it added to the game to be able to play it in first person.
Yeah.
My friend who replayed it totally forgot there was first person mode and didn't use it once. The whole point of buying it on the new console, and totally missed it.
Oh, shame.
I remember speaking to them about it a year or two ago, and they said, "Oh, I forgot there was first person in that." So I'm not sure if they used it or not, but my overriding impression is they did not. Anyway, you were telling us about GTA 3 and I'm trying to alleviate some of your fears. The only one I still have, genuinely, is the drive-by shootings. They still haven't managed to get the controls for that right.
Right.
But a lot of the other things about the map, the sat-nav guidance, the saving it whenever you want to, the losing all your weaponry and money when you blow up, all that jazz.
Yeah.
The stupid missions that you haven't come across yet, but which come up in the next 2 games where you're flying tiny wee RC helicopters or planes, those aren't there. So it does make massive improvements.
I fear for these.
Oh, I actually genuinely worry you might be unable to complete Vice City.
We shall see.
I hope I'm wrong. But, so, where are you now? You've got
I have to
possibly
redo
2,
the escort mission.
and you've got possibly another Donald Love mission after that.
Yes. And then I've got one that begins with a C.
That's the last mission.
Yes. So I'll leave that till the very last.
Carmen, is it?
I'll try some of the what do you call it? The payphone ones.
To try and bulk up your skills.
I'll try to see if I can actually do it. I won't do the drag race. I cannot do the drag race, and I don't see the point in me just like losing my rag at my PlayStation. Then.
No, because that's also not something you have to learn. Because I'm willing to bet those game mechanics are not in existence anymore.
Oh, okay.
So.
No 100% completionist for me.
No, you were never going to be able to do that because it'll demand that you find all the hidden packages.
I've only ever completed one game 100%.
Well, do you know what's easier to let you know is that in the 360, Xbox 360, it kept a special little bit at the side for when you've completed a game and got all the achievements for it.
Yeah.
So there was an achievement list with all your different games, but there was also a completed, and all the game icons appear in there that you've got 100% gamer score in.
Alright.
Now obviously that won't apply to you because you won't have a 360, but the reason they took that out, although I'm disappointed to see it go, was I think that they made it easier for you to see which games you've 100%ed, because when you check your achievements there's a wee progress bar. Same with the PlayStation in percentage, and it tells you how much, so you can see which ones you've completed. For me, I got I think possibly one you might get pretty quickly would be Oblivion.
Anyway, so that's what I've been playing this week.
How do you feel it's going though? Are you getting better?
No, I feel like there's I gave a chance with this game.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is when the police come after you, there's really no way of being able to determine the best course of action.
Yeah.
Because even if you go to a pay and spray, you have to have like either no stars or a minimum amount of stars before they'll even let you in. I remember that.
And the pop-in for the police is quite ridiculous in those games.
Oh my, they just appear and they just are relentless.
Yeah, they just appear everywhere.
I stole a cop car. That was fun.
There's a mission in Vice City involving dressing up as a policeman.
I didn't dress up as a policeman, I just stole a car.
Yeah.
A car.
Excellent.
A car.
So, happy that it's over. Have you learned from the start?
I suppose I have to answer honestly and say some things I have kind of learned, but I don't think I've learned a lot. I should have probably maybe filmed myself playing this when I started to actually realize how long have I been playing this for? Months.
You've been playing this since before we started, I think, or about
I think I've been since July, and it's November now.
Yeah.
Oh god, that's a long time to play a game.
Yeah.
I didn't even realise that.
On the bright side, though, reasonably fair chance that you'll be getting a slightly more
understanding of how to go about it.
No, upgraded piece of software with better games on it soon. Piece of hardware, sorry.
Hopefully.
So, I still recommend you play the other games, Vice City, but you could probably get a cheap copy of that for the computer. And that way you'd learn computer games.
First of all, I need a computer worth playing. I can't play computer games on my computer anymore, apparently.
No, but I think you'll find, because of the Black Friday and all that stuff, you could do it. I think one thing we should do when looking for equipment for you in that regard is, and I don't know why I didn't think of it before. I was just being a bit too stupid, I think. But it's been ages since I bought a computer. Is just look at a game you definitely want to play that's pretty high end.
You've already told me that.
And have I?
Yes.
So why haven't we done that?
I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, that was literally the first, I think, piece of advice you said was, go look at some games which you might want to play. Look at the specs.
I know why. It's because the place you have to go gives you an idea of how well it'll play those games, but I don't trust it anymore. That's why I came up with that idea again. Right, and that's why it went away. But yeah, so you don't have to play games which have those flaws for too long. You will be able to play more upgraded games soon. And
Okay.
especially when it comes to Grand Theft Auto, because there's no story linking the stories together. They're all separate. So no part of GTA 5 really spoils the previous games.
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay, I was like, I thought you meant like missions within the game don't interact with each other. It's no actual storyline.
You get sent to Liberty City for a mission in San Andreas, and some characters pop up. But I think GTA 5 is mostly just completely separate.
I'm not afraid of the game anymore. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
That's good. That's good.
Cowering fear in the corner
If
of my
you're
room.
bored,
No!
if you're bored because it keeps doing you out of a fair win,
Yeah.
that's different from frustrated because you can't do it.
Yeah, I feel like the game it's playing against me big time. That's what I feel like.
So I think that's an improvement.
Okay.
Because before you were just rubbish and couldn't do it.
What have you been playing this week?
I have been playing some more Fallout 4. I'm still trying to get back into the groove of it, still trying to find out what weapons I like. I was really disappointed in an odd way because I had this .44 6-shooting revolver
Yes.
and I had upgraded it to the max. I did 199 damage rating. I don't know what that means in real life, but that was amongst the highest of my weapons.
Yeah.
And I run about with about 8 or 9 weapons at once, so that's pretty powerful. I was using it a lot. I put a nice wee scope on the top, a reflex scope to make it easier to shoot at short to medium range.
Yeah.
And it was really powerful, and I just liked the motion, the boom, and then you reload, boom, sorry, not reload, then you recock it. And it just fit in with my power armour. It looked like a natural extension to the power armour because it was the same colour.
Mm-hmm.
Power armour is the exosuit that you wear.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
And it was such a joy to use that weapon, and then there was a problem.
What happened? What happened?
I found a gun that was technically better than it that used the same ammo. And I only allow myself to use one weapon of each ammo type, so I don't end up running around with no ammo and not realising it. Or, you end up using all the .5, the 50 cal ammo in a machine gun, and then you change to the sniper and you've got nothing.
Yeah.
So I only let myself use one type of ammo per weapon, and unfortunately that meant I had to, when I upgraded the new weapon, I had to replace that 6-shooter with the new weapon.
Oh, that's a shame.
It's a really nice weapon to use, and it does 376 damage compared to 199. So I couldn't have not used it,
Yeah.
but it really hurt to have to put my favourite weapon away
No.
and use the new one. It doesn't have as good an accuracy, but I can afford to let stuff get closer because I can just blast away at it point blank. And it does look kind of good, but it doesn't fit the armour as well, as it doesn't, just aesthetically it doesn't look as nice as the other one did.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe I'll find another one that's even better and looks better. But it was the right call to make, but it's one of those weird disappointments. I found an amazing weapon, but I have to stop using my best weapon because of it. My favourite weapon, sorry.
Yes.
It was a bit heart-wrenching, but on the plus side, I took on one of the game's most dangerous sort of radiant creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So not a boss, just a random creature, a Deathclaw. And I put like 4 shots into this thing's head and then it died. And to put that into context, before that I was having to put like 400 rounds into something like the beginning of the game to get it into the Deathclaw to get it to die. Like if I went up against a Deathclaw at the beginning of the game, I was having to use like all my ammo to kill it.
Yeah.
Whereas this was just blam, 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 blam. Oh, well, I've not even used all the ammo in this, I'll just reload. Incredible. I actually run around specifically using my worst weapon because I don't need to use my better ones and it's a waste of ammo. It's called the Deliverer Silenced Pistol, and its perk on it uses 25% less action points. But because it's got such a high fire rate, you end up being able to rack up like 14 shots in VATS, which is the automatic targeting mode, which uses action points.
Right.
So it uses 25% less, and because of its high rate of fire, it already uses a lot less action points than most weapons. So a sniper rifle will use 60% of my action points to fire in VATS. So it's an automated targeting system where you basically select body components to shoot at. You've got a chance of hitting.
Yes.
So this gun can rack up about 14 shots, and it does over 100 damage. I'm not sure exactly what, but against most enemies, I can just plug them in the head, because I've also got the perk which increases your chance to hit the head by 20%. So it's just plout, 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 and then like 4 guys drop, because I've shot them all in the head. So my weakest weapon, which is my stealth weapon, I've been using that almost exclusively and keeping all the good ammo for when I do either the story or DLC once I've got myself back into the rhythm.
Yeah.
Also, I had 80 grand, I've now got 67 because I bought a load of ammo. That was a sort of...
I don't know why you looked at me like that.
Sort of real disappointment that I had lost my favouriteest gun.
Oh, I emotionally pat you on the shoulder.
What I've been doing to get back into the swing of things, to get my rhythm back, to learn how everything works again, I have been doing Radiant quests, where you basically just get sent by one of the characters called Preston to help people randomly around the map, the Commonwealth.
Yeah.
I've just been plugging those away to get back into the swing of things, but also I take the companions with me to do them. And the companions are just random NPCs, not entirely random, but the other NPCs, sorry, that will work with you.
So they could just latch onto you and...
No, they're not random. Random was the wrong word. I just meant that you can take anyone you want at any time. So you can pick a random NPC, but these are specifically
available
as companions.
Right, that just sounded like when you said, oh, you could take anyone you want at any time.
I was trying to explain that you can pick any of the companions at any time, but I ended up just saying you can steal and kidnap NPCs.
That's what it sounded like.
So these specific people who can become companions, and when you meet them doing a certain quest, they'll become unlocked, and they'll come with you. And basically just help you shoot and carry stuff. But they have affinity, so they have things that they like and things that they don't like to see you do. And some of those are really quite like spending time with you and fighting enemies. All of them go up with that. They all like that, but certain other ones don't. So Preston likes you to come to Peaceful Solutions and help people. Valentine likes you to come to Peaceful Solutions and help people. Kate likes you to lick, to pick locks, to lick locks, to pick locks.
That Freudian slip, is it?
Yeah, and other characters like you to hack computers, terminals and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
But that's all fine, that's okay, but it's really annoying when you come up against a companion that has a dislike that you can't avoid. So Strong, for example, he's a super mutant. He dislikes it when you help people, so you can't do missions with him. And he dislikes if you're playing a good character, and he dislikes it when you step into power armor, which you sort of have to survive against certain enemies. And there's certain characters I'm grateful I've already maximised. I'll put it that way. And I'm a wee bit behind on my maximum affinity for some characters because I was running around with a character who's a robot from the DLC. And I didn't realise that she had no affinity bar.
Yeah.
So I was running around with her for like 70% of the game because she is ridiculously powerful. I outfitted her with a Gatling gun laser and a spinning blade hand. So she could, and also I put on an automatron head.
Yeah.
So she charges up during a fight, and about 5 seconds into a fight, she fires a Death Star laser beam out of her head. You can sort of see why I ended up working with her maybe a bit longer than I should have.
Is this like Cyclops from X-Men?
Yes,
Is
it is. It is actually, because it basically just comes out of her face as a beam. It's incredible.
I don't know why I find that so funny.
Well, what's great about it is that you can actually, because she's part of the DLC, they upgraded this so that you can build your own robots, but you can also adapt her.
Yeah.
So you can change her body, her head, her arms, and her legs.
Mm-hmm.
So she's got these dinky little, almost sexy Assaultron legs, and then this enormous big body, because it increases the amount she can carry. And then she's got these death arms that I've given her. And then she's got, I don't think you can add different legs. The legs have to be the same, because all the legs are sort of different shapes and heights, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But the arms can be different.
Right.
And then she's got the head, and as soon as I found the Assaultron head, I popped that on, and then she was like, I got into a fight with a couple of death claws. She just went,
What's a death claw?
thing I mentioned earlier on. Really difficult enemy that I shot with my 6-shooter.
Okay. There's a lot of information I'm taking
No,
in.
that's absolutely fine. They're giant big lizard beasts. Basically, they look like Tyrannosaurus Rexes on
Okay.
steroids. And she just annihilated them with this head laser. Like, I was getting out my sniper rifle and she just went, right, put that away. I racked up so much ammo because she killed everything in sight for me.
That's good.
She went up against an army of ghouls and just stuck out her hand laser and just went, and just, sorry, not her hand laser, her hand blade. And they all came through a door and she just stood there going, cutting through them like it was like if you watch like an automatic cheese grater, or like one of those things that shreds logs.
Yes.
Like all the ghouls blown up into bits. It's incredible. So you can understand why I kept her for a bit longer than I should have. So I've been focusing on maximising the affinity of the characters that I've unlocked, because I think I've actually unlocked all of them that I can get so far through the story. I think there's only 1 or 2 other than that I need to get. So I've been trying to maximise their affinity, because when you maximise their affinity, you get a permanent perk unlocked for your character.
Do you choose what permanent?
No, it's different
Random.
for each. No, it's not random. It's predetermined for each companion character.
Oh, right, okay.
So I know I used the word random wrong as well. So there's one character called McCready who's a sniper. He gives you a plus 20% perk to to hitting with the head to hitting with your head in to hitting the head in VATS. This 20% increase is really, really useful, so I made sure to get it as soon as I could.
Yeah.
But what was fantastic was when I read about the character on a wiki page, apparently there was a bug in the game originally when it came out, so I never got to experience this, but it increased your chances of a headshot by 200%. So you never missed a headshot no matter how far away you were in VATS.
Yeah.
And the reason can you guess why it went from 20 to 200?
Somebody accidentally added in another zero
They
in the
put
mechanics.
the decimal point in the wrong place in the coding. And so you were just like bang, 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 and everything dropped with its head exploding.
For the benefit of our listeners, Tommy was randomly pointing a fake gun in multiple different directions.
With his eyes shut.
Your eyes were open, don't
Well,
lie.
I don't need to. You can just tell them the eyes were shut.
I am truthful to our listeners. I don't pull the wool over their eyes, you do.
You pull the sock over the mic. I've got to be honest, McCready's a character you actually meet in a previous game.
Right.
You meet him in Fallout 3, which is set 4 years earlier, I think.
Okay.
Wait, no. No, it's not. It's set 14 years earlier. Because I was about to say he goes from being like an 8-year-old to being a 25-year-old in 4 years, which doesn't make any sense. But it's set 14 years later, so he's 22, which does make sense. But the characters aren't as good as the companions that they've had in previous games. Strong as a super mutant, I think Fox from Fallout 3 was better. The sniper, Boone, was better. He constantly goes on and on about how his wife was raped and murdered by the Kaiser's Legion, and then just pulls out a sniper rifle and blasts. He'll do this while talking to you. Like, he'll just say, hello, how you doing, blah, 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 under his like random chat rather than a proper conversation, and then he'll pull out a gun and just blow away something This is in New Vegas, hundreds of miles away. And it's the same problem I've had before, is that the companions have been better and so have the weapons. Like, I've had favourite weapons in this game, but the vast majority of weapons are pointless. I don't have as much fun with them.
Oh.
Also, I'm not entirely sure how they're supposed to work. Because
Are you actually enjoying it? Because it kind of sounds like you would. Yeah.
It's just that they for me, it's like I've said, it's a step to the side rather than a step forward, and then they still manage to trip up over their own feet.
Yeah, you said that last week. Yeah.
But I've been unlocking the maximum affinity companion perks because they come in useful. I recently got what's considered to be the most useful one.
Yeah.
Which is that if you're ever fighting more than 3 or more enemies, this is from Preston Garvey, you get 20% damage resistance and 20% damage or critical chance or something like that. So you basically become more resistant to damage and more able to deal more damage if you're against 3 or more enemies, and most of the fights in the game you're against 3 or more enemies. So it's considered to be one of the ones you should get when you start.
Yeah.
Although I'm level 69. I can actually say, because I've checked how long I've been playing this for, I should have got that perk 100 hours ago. I've been playing it for 7 days and like 12 hours or something. But
Nice.
I am enjoying just doing the... I hated the Radiant quest before, because as a completionist I liked my quest log to be empty.
Yeah.
And this infuriated me, because they keep re-popping. But they've been useful to do this with. Just to quickly do these missions, kill some bad guys, get my affinity up, get the perk, move on to the next companion. And I'll probably either pick between somebody like Nick Valentine, who's pretty cool, Kate, who is Irish and fancies the pants off me, obviously, and Ada, who is just an absolute murdering machine. She'll just go, boo, boo,
It's just the one at the hand.
Yeah, she'll just go, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, boo, boo, and then a Saltron beam, and then she'll turn around while doing that and say, I do not require food or sleep to survive.
Well, it sounds like you're having fun.
I'm having a bit of fun with it, yeah.
That's good.
And I've still got the 2 biggest DLCs and the main story to do, so yeah, I've got the best bits, I think, to look forward to.
Shall we move on to Xenos?
Yes, we will. You were going to talk about Spyro for a little while.
Well, this just to say that the remastered editions have come out for the first... For the first 3 games, I believe.
I think there are not only 3.
No, there was some after.
Okay.
There's like Spyro A New Beginning, which I did play.
Okay.
But this is like I think it's supposed to be like the original trilogy.
The first 3, yeah.
Yeah. So I think Spyro Year of the Dragon is included in this, which is the only older game I've played of Spyro. I took 100% on.
Yay!
Yay. Only took me like 5 years to understand how to use the sparks mechanic. Never used that before. Of trying to find gems so I could complete it. It looks pretty good. Like it looks like they've taken the Polygon character and just like buffed it out a little bit and made it.
Yeah.
It looks really, really good.
I have seen some footage, and it goes from looking like he's in Harry Potter 1 for the PlayStation to an actual modern map, something out of like was it like ukulele or something like that?
I don't know.
Something like that.
But yeah, it looks really good. It looks like it's a lot of fun. Tom Kenny is voicing Spyro.
I'm sure if I knew who that was, I'd be most
SpongeBob.
impressed.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Right. Okay.
Or if you ever watched the Cramp Twins, he was I think it was Wayne Cramp.
Cramp Twin 1?
The purple one.
Right. I've never seen it.
It was on Cartoon Network. It was good. Yeah, so Tom Kenny voices Spyro, and he does a really good job, I think.
That's good.
Yeah, because the person I was watching playing showed a still from when they put Spyro, it was in Skyrim, and I don't know what the heck they did to that character, but it looked like an actual lizard, like a really disgusting looking lizard.
Because if it was actually a skin for dragons, the dragons in that game are wyverns, not dragons, so they don't have front legs. So it
You've taken this to a whole new level of explaining about lore of dragons.
Dragons with 4 legs and 2 wings are dragons. Dragons with back legs and the wings are the 4 arms are wyverns, or wyverns as I prefer to call them. And if they tried to convert the skin of a 4 into a 2 or a dragon into a wyvern, it would look weird because he'd have front legs that weren't really there.
It's a mythical creature. You can put feathers on it for all you want.
No, it's 2 separate types of mythical creature.
I don't
Or
care.
it's 2 separate mythical
It's
creatures.
a lizard that breathes fire and flies.
I don't think all wyverns necessarily breathe fire. But
Oh my goodness.
I just don't like wyverns that don't have front legs. I like dragons to be the full load.
I laugh. I do laugh, but I probably take the concept of, any other mythical thing I ever watched very seriously, so I shouldn't laugh at you taking this seriously.
I just like my dragons to be dragons and not wyverns.
Well, these dragons are dragons.
Not the ones in Skyrim. Skyrim dragons are wyverns.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Spyro.
Spyro's, that's what I'm trying to tell you. They're trying to take the skin of a dragon and put it on a wyvern, so it's going to look weird.
Yeah, but anyway, so he looks really cute.
Aye.
They all look really cool. I like the older dragons.
In the actual game.
In the actual game, they all...
Yeah, not the foul demon mod
What?
that you were talking about for Skyrim.
Yeah. No, it looks really cool. It looks a lot more fleshed out. It looks like, if... I don't know. It just looks a lot better, and it just feels a little bit fresher. But it has that... Watching it, it feels like it definitely still has that old, like Spyro feel to it. Like, it's still, like... It's challenging, but not too challenging. So I think I probably enjoy that. It's fun.
Yeah.
It looks fun. It's kept the whimsy of Spyro.
Yeah, the only problem I'd say is that while it might look better, it probably doesn't have any... its chances of having upgraded game mechanics are slim, so I don't know what you would learn from playing it. But
No, I'm just saying it looks like fun.
Play it,
Yeah, I would want to play it, but then I discovered I think it's only on PS4, which I don't have. And I was thinking of getting an Xbox, and obviously I don't think I'll be on an Xbox, so now I'm sad.
I have to say I'd still stick with the Xbox theorem.
But I want to play
better for
Spyro.
You'll eventually get the opportunity to play it though, because we'll eventually have PlayStation 4s or 5s or 7s aplenty that you can try.
But I want to play it now.
Alright, calm down. Which character are you for Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory?
Don't care. Oh, I can't sing. It's copyrighted material.
Yeah.
It's Veruca Salt's.
Yeah.
That's it. I love that movie. I love it.
I love
Gene Wilder as Willy Wonka.
Land of Pure Imagination.
Do you know the opening scene where we meet Willy Wonka for the first time and he's walking through the gates and he's got like a limp, and then he puts his cane in the ground and he does a forward roll. Nobody knew that he was going to do that. I think the director knew, but nobody else did.
Yeah.
So that look of wonderment on the kids' faces is genuine, which I love.
And also I think the scene where he takes a bite out of the teacup. I think that was
improvised as well. Yeah.
And it was just a plastic teacup, so as soon as he was finished the scene, he just had to spit it all out.
I always wondered if it was plastic.
It wasn't an edible teacup, because at least I don't think so, because it wasn't designed to be eaten. But yeah.
How was he able to take a bite out of it then?
Because it was flimsy little thing, that's why.
I absolutely love Gene Wilder films. Like, Young Frankenstein is mine and my dad's favourite.
Yeah, my dad introduced me to a lot of Gene Wilder stuff when I was a kid. I think my favourite might just be Chocolate Factory.
Or there's also Blazing Saddles. We love
Blazing
that.
Sandals.
Blazing Sandals. They must have had Blazing Saddles.
See, Hear No Evil, See No Evil was very funny.
I've not seen that.
It was funny.
What were we talking about?
We're talking about Spyro.
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to playing it?
Eventually, they probably remaster it by the time I get it again.
Remastered.
The remastered. So anyway, you have got a news item about Microsoft. Would you like to
Yes.
fill me in on it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a loose one. It's more of a theoretical. So normally I have little bullet points to make sure I get all the facts correct. This just says Microsoft has been making a charge recently.
There's I thought you said I thought it said change.
Yeah, so did I. But then I read it again. It's charge because they've been buying up lots of companies. They've announced, I think it's something weird like 12 or 16 games for the Game Pass. They've also announced a whole host of backpack games. And this is where it got interesting for me. So they're clearly making a charge on PlayStation 4 for this current console and the next console generation especially.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I think they're putting so much effort into backwards compatibility because...
I've got a question.
Yes, on you go.
What do you mean by making a charge?
They've been, as I just said, they've been buying lots of companies that make games. They've been announcing lots of games for the Xbox Pass that they run.
Yeah, but so do you just mean that they're making a play for it?
Play for what?
I don't understand what you mean by charge.
They've been buying lots of video game making companies that they have not previously done in the past year. They've been spending an awful lot of money recently buying up some rights to games to show them now and to have them on the Xbox Game Pass, buying up companies that make games. They've been putting an awful lot of money into it and sort of doubling down on everything that they're doing now to attract gamers in. And I think they've also been trying to make lots of games backwards compatible.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big part of what they're doing to tackle PlayStation, because PlayStation's backwards compatibility is essentially non-existent. So that's what I mean by making a charge.
Okay. So I've literally never heard that phrase before.
It's not a phrase, I'm just saying they're making a charge. They're taking the fight to PlayStation.
Okay.
But the whole point of it seems to be that they're making a run they're making a run at PlayStation. Because PlayStation completely dominated this current generation, even though the Xbox had the most powerful console. Because Xbox's original release was a joke, and the PlayStation Pro and the PlayStation 4 were both better. It took Xbox until they got to the Xbox One X to be better, so they've not done very well. What phrase would you use then instead of the one I seem to have accidentally used, making a charge?
They were spending money.
Okay, that's not really that helpful. That's not a phrase telling...
Well, when you say they're making a charge, it sounds like a military term for when you're charging at the enemy.
Yeah, because that's really what they are doing. They're taking the fight to PlayStation. Because they need to make exclusives. Both Nintendo and PlayStation have lots of exclusives. Xbox don't. They've really only got Halo at this stage. So they're reactivating old exclusives. They're trying to make new ones. Might be why that KOTOR thing got shut down. Maybe they're talking to Lucasfilm saying, look, when EA go the way of the dodo, can we have a go at making KOTOR? That would be nice.
Well, maybe.
Because they've got Obsidian, so...
Yeah.
So it would be nice. Anyway, all of this is good for players for the reason I just outlined, is that by making a charge, taking the fight to PlayStation, trying to make exclusives in single player games, it means they're upping the content and hopefully the quality of content from there being a paucity of good exclusive content for the Xbox and even just good single player content for the Xbox to being an awful lot more.
Yeah.
And that's good for players. But the part that's been most interesting to me is some of the backpack stories. I mean, I'm really interested in Obsidian making some games, but this is the bit that took me by surprise, obviously probably because I knew the rest of the story, is that Final Fantasy games are being made backwards compatible. So Final Fantasy 13, 13 Part 2 and 13 Part 3, or Lightning Returns, they were all Xbox games as well as PlayStation, and they're being made backwards compatible.
Right.
Which is good, because I hated the first one. The second one seemed okay for a long time, and then when I finished it, realised it was rubbish. And I've been wanting to play 13.3, Lightning Returns, so that I can hate the series properly. But
I need to play all of them to be fair.
Yeah.
To be fair in my hatred of the Final Fantasy games.
I think what it does is give you a time limit, so you're able to only do certain side missions and main missions.
Yeah.
And I hate stuff like that. I hate it. If you're going to give me some content, just let me do it. Right? Don't make me have to sit there and plan out my week so I can get as many quests done as possible. Like in games like Kingdom Come Deliverance, you can actually miss quests and not even realise they were available because you were on the other side of the map.
Yeah.
There's a point at which that just becomes tedious. Unless they look back around, it becomes tedious. But this game has a hard end line. So you can move that end line, but only so far back.
Right, okay.
So it's just at 13.3, It's just, that goes right for me. Like games where you're not allowed to pause. Oh, great, I'll just not urinate then. Oh my god, what are you doing? This is an
I
entertainment.
couldn't imagine a game where you couldn't pause. This would be...
This is an entertainment sector, not a challenge. It's not the Crystal Maze. What is going on? What's this? This is what's going to... We're going to have a PlayStation for the next round of I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. It's just...
We'll find out tonight.
I don't watch it, but that's nonsense, and so's not being able to pause it.
Oh, did you hear? I won't give the name away, but there's a grocery retailer who is going to start selling crickets to eat.
Yes, I have heard of that.
I'm going to track some down and I'm going to buy some. I'm going to try it. I've always wanted to try crickets.
But those games were available on Xbox anyway. But apparently, and I've only heard this from one source, so I don't know how true it is, but apparently they're including games like Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy X, which were PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 exclusives.
So you mean they never...
They never came out on Xbox.
Yeah. Because how often does that actually happen when games are available on multiple different consoles? Does that happen quite regularly? Or
that's more common than not. Like
right.
I just mentioned, Xbox is essentially cross-platform with the exception of things like Halo. Okay. PlayStation's much more exclusive because it's got a lot more Japanese-made games.
Right.
God of War as well, stuff like that, but it's much more...
inclusive. Not inclusive, but...
It has exclusives. It is inclusive of exclusives. But, there was no Xbox when Final Fantasy VII came out. Final Fantasy X was PlayStation 2 versus Xbox Classic. So these games, if they are being made backwards compatible, it'll probably be a remaster of them. But the fact that they're being made available for Xbox One, if that is what's happening, that's really demonstrative of the charge, as I put it, on PlayStation made by Nintendo. And I'm really happy to see it because I've always wanted to play Final Fantasy X because I saw a friend play the first hour of it, and then I saw a different friend play the first hour of it, and both times I wanted to play the first hour of it too. So I'd like to play that. Also, I never actually finished Final Fantasy 7 or 8 or 9.
Have you played...
I think it might actually be all the single player ones bar 11, and I don't know if 11 was a single player one. Or if it's already been made available for the Xbox or something like that. Because they mentioned 7, I'm sure at least 8 or 9, possibly both, 10 Part 2 and 12 were being made backwards compatible. So that's really interesting to see those classic PlayStation games being made available for Xbox if that's what happens.
Right, okay.
And if not, then they're making remasters for the PlayStation 4, so yeah. But it seems to be that Xbox are gearing up to tackle PlayStation when it comes to the next set of consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and a side piece of news. This is a separate piece of news, right? Actually, I'll get your opinion on that first.
It'd be good if they did make a load of games backwards compatible.
For you.
Yeah.
And for me.
Yeah, and also, I think it's... Does it sometimes take... I know there's a sense of nostalgia when a game gets remastered. The idea is to remaster it for the older generation.
But also to let... Well, no,
and to let the younger generation see it.
Yeah, but it's to give it... It's basically to put it on the more powerful platform.
Yeah, but also, does it sort of sometimes take away from the nostalgia a little bit because it doesn't look the exact same, so it won't have the exact same kind of feel?
See, sometimes yes, sometimes no, because sometimes the improvements are worth it. But see games like the Halo remaster, they put in a button just in the controller. One of the buttons was...
Is this a special controller they made for...
No. It's just Halo doesn't use all the buttons of the controller. It's quite simplistic in its mechanisms.
All right, because they've made changes to the controller.
Well,
since then.
Yes, but also Halo never used all the buttons.
Oh, okay.
Like the D-pad is essentially unused in Halo, so they used one of the buttons for the graphics shift. So you get the remastered graphics.
Yes.
Press the button, old graphics.
Oh, that's cool.
But this is what I find really, really sort of meta about the whole thing, is that the collision boxes are the same as they used to be, but the graphical boxes aren't, at least before they came out with the most recent patch.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes you would be forced to shift into the old style so that you could see where the actual collision boxes were, because sometimes you would be able to shoot through walls and sort of like little bits of the corner basically, and sometimes you couldn't, and you didn't know why, and then you'd shift to the old screen and there'd be a wall covering the bit you're shooting at, or the wall would disappear. So it was this sort of meta thing of, I've gone back in time, now I can shoot you, now I come forward. It was really weird, but I think the ability
That sounds amazing.
to switch between the graphics modes, putting that in is really, really useful, and it lets you have some of the nostalgia but also see what it looks like.
It also adds a bit more fun to it, like in terms of being able to swap that wall around, for example.
Yeah, you can basically just look at the wall and then switch to the old wall and then new wall, old wall, new wall, old, and see what they think was an upgrade.
Yeah.
Yeah. But apparently the big change for the Master Chief Collection was they redid all of the Halo 2 cutscenes. Apparently they look incredible.
Okay.
So I can't wait to get to those when I play it in 2035. But what do you think about Microsoft making a charge, as I have put it in inverted commas, about how they're taking the fight?
Yeah, I'm just thinking of my response.
I have to fill the noise somehow.
I think that it's probably they're doing not a power play, but they're making a smart decision in doing this, because then they can just do whatever they want with the things they've built up.
All the exclusives and all the companies like Obsidian and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because it sounds like they are. Because from a non-gamer's perspective, from what I've heard over the last few years, does Microsoft make the Xbox, or is that?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that before I made this next point. Xbox seems to have been getting a bigger name for itself for the past few years, specifically, in my opinion, from what I've heard.
I wouldn't say a bigger name. I would say more
prominent name.
No. I would say a better name.
Yeah.
Sort of a more acceptable, less to be made fun of name.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in secondary school, people were talking about the 360, and
big time styling. Yeah.
Yeah, but there wasn't a lot for it. I kind of have this feeling like I don't remember hearing a lot about the 360 apart from people who actually played it. In the general view, all you ever heard was Nintendo or PlayStation. That's all. That from my perspective, that's what I remember.
That's odd, because all I remember is Xbox.
I don't.
You must have just had friends who had Nintendos and PlayStations.
Pretty much.
Because I had friends who all had Xboxes.
Yeah, maybe that's what it does.
Yeah. But I think that you'd be right in saying generally Microsoft and Xbox had a bad name when they released the Xbox One. I've told you this before, what they did when it was released. And they just shot themselves in the foot, and they've had to make up for that, especially when they then doubled down by stopping making single players and exclusives, and the fan base just said, well, we're going to go and buy PlayStations and Switches.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because the console wars are done, basically. So you can buy both, you can buy all three, and you don't feel like some sort of traitor. So they just didn't realise that's what was going to happen. So... That's my opinion. Yeah, you've got a point there. They have made a more pleasant name for themselves, shall we say.
Yes.
Okay. Sort of side note is that I don't think there's an N64 Mini coming out anytime soon.
No.
Something that I read an interview with the...
Didn't we? Oh, no, it's the PlayStation 1, the mini console thing that we weren't entirely happy with. No. Or you weren't entirely happy with.
No, I wasn't. And neither were you, actually, to be fair. The president of Nintendo in North America has come out that he's the one who said that, so it could be a ploy, but I'm going to buy it for now because I don't see the point in them hiding it. I know Nintendo like to sort of do that, but I don't think they would pretend their console's not coming because I don't see the benefit. Anyway, the last story that we've got, as it were, is Fallout 76. Now, Red Dead Redemption 2 and Fallout 76 will not get much of a mention specifically from us because there's too much information. We said this before. We can't debate all of that and everything else. There's no time.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it that much.
Yeah, because it's just too much. Same with Red Dead Redemption 2, Fallout 76, they're in the same barrel. But like, the occasional story will come up, like the sexism story last time for Red Dead 2, if you remember.
Yes, it was the game developer who was making a suggestion, or a game developer, I think it was making a suggestion, and it was taken the wrong way.
No.
Yes, it was. He said to her, you know, you could do this maybe a little bit better, and she got offended.
No, that was Guild Wars, and that was episode 2. I think I'm actually partnered with a goldfish. This story was about the feminist who got murdered by the player. Do you remember the feminist character, I should say, who got killed, not murdered? That sounded way more serious than it was. Who got killed by Shirako? And he made a video of it.
Yes.
And the video got banned.
Yes, I thought you were asking me to remember something from like week 2.
No, this last week.
Okay.
Not the first week.
Okay.
So sometimes these stories will come up and we'll talk about them, and then Abigail will forget about them. So beyond, of course, us talking about them when we eventually play them. Now, I have seen a bit of Fallout 76 because I couldn't avoid this. I've seen talk of the bugs, a little bit of gameplay from Giant Bomb, because after I heard these other stories, I thought it was worth looking at. But I skipped the story stuff at the start, of which there's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've seen the reviews on Metacritic from the players. Now, they've got both critics who review it and there's a meta score, and then they have the players come in and give their reviews and there's a different score for that. Now, we'll start you off with the sort of like disclaimer warning, which is the Metacritic scores. 500 results in for PlayStation, and it has an average score of 2.4 out of 10. And there's about 400 odd scores in for the computer, and it has a result of 2.4. Now, Xbox has about a similar score, I think, but it has a significantly lower number of Metacritic results. It's only got like 130 or 150 or something like that. But it's getting tanned by the players who are playing it. And the reasons for that are it looks lovely, although it looks basically like Fallout 4.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like they've changed the style at all. So it looks like Fallout 4, but with multiplayer aspects. The map looks lovely, the graphics look lovely, the god rays look lovely. God rays are light beams from the sun that look lovely.
Okay.
And the at least I hope that's what they are, otherwise I'm embarrassing myself. And the music seems quite nice.
Why do they dance in the adverts for Fallout? Like they're like.
It's a multiplayer game, so one of the big things you want in it is a dance motion. Trust me. It's weird, but you end up dancing a lot in multiplayer games.
I didn't understand this. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought it was a different game. Like, I didn't realise it was Fallout 74 until, like, it said at the end Fallout 74. And I was like, why are they dancing?
Well, I don't know why it's called Fallout 74.
So, for 76, sorry.
But the dancing, like especially with Destiny, you find if you're just walking away from the screen for a few seconds or you're waiting for people to show up or something, you'll just hit the dance emotion and then the guy will go, and then you'll come back and it'll be great. You get groups of people all dancing together. Like it's a rave.
Or what's it, a flash mob?
Yeah, it's more like a flash mob, but they don't. It's less of a flash mob and more of a flash happenstance, or a happenstance mob.
Okay.
Because they don't. It's not pre-planned. They just sort of appear and start dancing, and they're not doing the same thing, facing the same way. It's the choreography is rubbish. Each individual dancer is fantastic, but they're all just doing their own thing. Yeah, so they've inputted multiplayer aspects like that. There's emoticons, as it were, or motions that they can make to each other.
Yeah.
So they can clap, they can thumbs up, they can heart shape, they can be sick, they can dance. So it's got all the classics in it from MMOs, but it doesn't. It's got also alongside that an awful lot of bugs. A lot of people reporting things that just don't work properly. One guy put up a video of him in a fight, and there's a huge gap in the middle, as it were, where he's just stationary. And he actually put up in writing, I haven't stopped playing, the game's just frozen. And then eventually it comes back and he's playing again and then it freezes again, and it's just full of bugs like that. Now you shouldn't be surprised by that necessarily because it's a Bethesda game, but a lot of the reviews from players have been, it looks to me, because they put out their beta like a week or two before they released it, which is no time at all to fix the bugs.
Yeah,
so
no,
all
that's
the bugs
ridiculous.
from that are still in it. So people are saying they released this game 12 to 18 months too early, and it feels like they've released a beta or a beta or a beta.
Yeah,
a beta.
beta.
I'm saying beta because it doesn't interfere with the two other ways of saying it. It seems like they've released the beta and not the actual game. And I think the summation to the current opinion of Fallout 76 was said by Jeff Gerstmann from Giant Bomb when he was playing it. He said, the map looks lovely and it feels great, but what it really feels like is that I'm playing the beta and I'm waiting for them to put in the story and missions because there's nothing to do. There's sort of a paucity of things to do in the game. It's completely... The map's lovely and you can go exploring, but there's really no reason to do that.
Yeah.
So it feels to me, if this is true, that the game isn't great, there is nothing to do and there's a lot of bugs, it feels to me, and it's kept the design of Fallout 4, it feels to me that they've done the same thing they did between Fallout 3 in New Vegas and Fallout 4, and now Fallout 4 in 76. They've taken a step to the side, not forward, and they've tripped up over their own feet.
Right.
It's somehow they've managed the same trick twice. They're like a child learning to walk, but they've made previously fantastic games, so I don't know why they're having to relearn. And that's, I suppose, what I would say about what I've heard about 76, is it's getting absolutely tanned
Yeah.
in the player reviews.
Sounds like it.
They need to get extra content out for that game, because Destiny got ripped to shreds by people because of the way it handled its story. It wrote a huge, lovely, big story, right? Cut
Okay.
it up into ridiculously tiny sections, sold them all for a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. People got angry, there was a lack of things to do, there was a lack of real interest in the story because it wasn't being explained. I think that then meant that there was less interest in Destiny 2 eventually, all that sort of stuff. And it got absolutely tanned for having a paucity of things to do. This has to be done as well for Fallout 76. If there's nothing to do, what's the point in playing the game? You might as well buy Assassin's Creed Origins or Odyssey and just play the guided tour walkthrough version of the game if all you're interested in is walking around and looking at stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're fighting enemies, well, a lot of people need a reason to fight enemies. They can't just fight enemies and be happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like it's being absolutely tanned, and the explanation, I think, was best summed up, but has been said by other people. Best summed up by Jeff Gerstmann saying that it feels like a beta that they've not added, that he's just waiting for them to add the actual content to.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk about that briefly just to tan it. I'm hoping that they can put some effort into making a proper Fallout game. The whole point about Fallout was that you were supposed to be in the world of humans after they've survived. Well, if you wipe all the humans out of the area, that doesn't make any sense because you feel like the last survivor, not just you're not entering a world of what's happening here, you're just entering a world of what happened here. It's like a murder mystery rather than an adventure game.
Yeah.
And if you want to be able to play Fallout multiplayer, just make a multiplayer Fallout, not a multiplayer only, not Fallout, because it's got no NPCs in it.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter which Fallout game you play, the NPCs are always great.
Okay then.
I'm angry.
I know.
It even looks like Fallout 4. They've not even bothered to update that.
You okay?
No, I'm annoyed. But anyway,
Shall we end that there then today on
Yes,
an
we-
angry note?
we shall.
So I'll say thank you for listening today.
Thank you for listening.
If you'd like to like this video and subscribe to our channel, that would be absolutely fantastic.
You can do that below the video.
Yes, and if you'd like to leave us a comment, we'd like all comments. We've not gotten a comment
We'd
yet.
like
have we?
any comments.
A comment, please, before Christmas.
Copy and paste a picture of a thumbs up. Type thumbs up. I'll take anything. But yeah, it'd be great if you could leave a comment, like and subscribe, and you can follow us on Facebook at not Facebook.
At
Facebook
overshadow.shadowcast.
Start again. You can follow us on Facebook at,
Overshadow.shadowcast.
and you can contact us via email at,
Overshadow.shadowcast@gmail.com.
yes. week 2. So it took 20 weeks for you to remember, but you have remembered into 21. Excellent. Well
Yay!
done. Thumbs up. So once again, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, we'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.